The ACU men's basketball team ended its historic season with a Southland Tournament title and a first ever appearance in the March Madness Spotlight. I'm Max Preston.
And I'm Grant Boone. We'll look back at the run through the Southland Tournament straight to the big dance. It's the Joe Golding Show right now. Welcome to our final episode of the Joe Golding Show as we put the wraps on the greatest season in the 100 years of ACU basketball. I'm Grant Boone alongside Max Preston and the head coach of the ACU men's basketball team, the media darling of the first week of March Madness and the coach of the year in the Southland Conference, Joe Golding. Coach, I'm a little surprised you took our call to even shoot the show today now that you're a big superstar. A lot has happened since the last time that we shot this show. That was going into the last week of the regular season. We had Stephen F. Austin coming to town and Incarnate Word coming to town. Since then, a Southland Tournament title, the program's first ever trip to the NCAA tournament against the mighty Kentucky Wildcats, no less, and a level of national attention for the university, the likes that ACU has rarely seen, thanks in part to moments like this.
As far as my suit, this is true, man. I'm telling you, my bonus, it's all a fact, you know. And the suit got ripped when I jumped up and hugged our associate head coach. He's been with this journey for me for 7 years. He took a chance on me. He left a really good program where he had a ton of success, and they made the NCAA tournament at Stephen F. Austin, which you guys are probably familiar with, to come here and build this with me. And, man, it has not been easy. It's been the hardest thing we've ever done, and it was an incredible embrace that we had the last 8 seconds. Unfortunately, I ripped my pants. So I get back to Abilene. I haven't got my bonus yet either. I just found out I don't get that till June 1st, I think. So I heard somebody's going to start a GoFundMe page. I'd appreciate it, you know, any help I can get. But we got one suit place in town. That's it. One suit place. They couldn't get it done. I guess you got to alter and do some stuff. So I got one suit, my man. I had 2 suits when the year started. I left one in the airport. True story. Had to go to when we played Nicholls State and buy a suit or khaki pants and a shirt. I'm coaching tomorrow in my baby blue suit, and I'm going to have a hole in my butt, man. So it is what it is, man. We're going to be who we are and go out there and embrace it.
That had everybody buzzing. We'll talk about the games themselves in just a bit, Coach, but have you been able to wrap your head around what the whirlwind of these last 10 days has been like?
You know, it's just been amazing, man. God is just so good. You know, I mean, I know we've said that a lot, you and I, and through the struggles of the deal and just all the adversity that we've not just this year. People, you know, grab onto that, but just over building this program, you know, from Division II to Division I. And everything that's gone into it. I thought a lot, honestly, Grant, the last 10 days, just about all the former players that were a part of this, former assistant coaches that were a part of this, former ADs that were a part of this, former trainers. We've had a bunch of GA trainers, strength coaches. There's just been a lot of people that have been a part of this process that culminated in the last 10 days. And it took a lot of people's work to get there. But it was an incredible journey. It was one that these guys will never forget. I'll never forget it. It was an incredible opportunity to showcase our university on the national stage, even though I have to be the butt of the jokes. You know,
literally.
It still, yeah, it still was incredible how fast our university was able to get exposure. And I think if you look back on the President Schubert and the Board of Regents and their decision to go to Division I, there were lots of reasons that went into that. Academics, we can recruit better student athletes that match our academics of our regular student body. You know, lots of other, you know, just the caliber of student athlete, the league fit, our mission as a university, but probably more than important than anything is to get the mission in our university on a national stage. And if people aren't convinced that it didn't happen over the last 10 days, and it's crazy, you know. So it's been an incredible run for our basketball program, but also an incredible run for our university. And I love our students. I love our professors, our faculty. I grew up here. This is me. This place is me. And it was awesome to be able to go sell our university to the national media.
So everyone's been excited about the team, how the team went to the NCAA tournament, but there wasn't much time to celebrate the incredible Southland Championship win. After losing 2 starters and falling to SLU that next Saturday, a lot of people thought this team was down and out. So how nice was it to prove them wrong and hold up that Southland trophy?
It was a feeling I'll never forget. You know, I mean, and again, it goes back to what we just talked about. You go back and think about the start of this whole thing to holding up the trophy. That was the goal and that was the vision, and we believed all along that we could make it happen. There were times where it didn't look like that, but I think if you were inside our locker room, if you've been around our basketball team and our program the last 3 or 4 years, you've seen the changes, you've seen the momentum. Last year we were close. We just couldn't quite get over the hump, and we lost 2 bad home games. You know, the Corpus and Incarnate Central Arkansas game here. You know, were just 2 bad home losses that cost us a trip to Katy. And then to have the opportunity to turn the page with those seniors, I knew it was going to be a special season. I knew that this summer, if you've been around these seniors and you've been around a locker room, you could just tell something was going to happen. And so it takes time at this level. There's a lot that goes in that people don't understand on the outside. It takes some patience at times to build it and do it the right way, and I'm glad we were able to do it. The adversity was tough. Those 2 guys have played a big part in this program for a long time, but we had to move on, you know, and that was part of it. And I don't think we'd beat anybody in the conference the Saturday where Southeastern beat us. There was just too much. It was just too much over a 48-hour period. But I think moving on, if you know our team and you've been around us, you know, we go back and we talked about on the show, the Corpus Christi, the dinner on Tuesday night was celebrated. We were already in Katy for the first time. We relaxed. We had 4 games. We were playing for positioning, where we were going to be. And I could tell right there at the dinner that we had our team back. You know, I knew it. I didn't know how we were going to play against Corpus, but I knew we were back. We were laughing. We were joking. It was okay to laugh and joke again and be ourselves. And that's this group, if you've been around them. You know, and they were that way in Jacksonville, which I loved. We are who we are. It is what it is. You know, and they didn't change themselves just because the lights got brighter. And so, honestly, Max, we thought we were going to still win the league. You know, I thought all along we had the best team in the league. We just didn't really get to play with our team the whole time, you know. And when we were able to really lock in and say this was our team down the stretch and gain some momentum, some confidence, obviously we were able to go to Katy and do some special things.
We're going to recap this memorable march to a Southland title and the NCAA tournament when we come back on the Joe Golding Show. Back here on the Joe Golding Show, the ASU men's basketball team with 4 straight wins to end the regular season secured the number 2 seed for its first ever appearance in the Southland Conference tournament, which meant a double bye straight into the semifinals. And then after Southeastern Louisiana defeated Central Arkansas in the quarterfinals on Thursday, Coach, you got a rematch with the Lions, the last team, as you said, to knock you off. You got out to a 13-point lead in the first half. Things were looking good. Southeastern comes roaring back. They even took the lead with 2 minutes to go before Peyton Ricks hit, I don't know, maybe the biggest shot in the history of ASU basketball, an NBA range 3 to put your team back on top to stay. You got some unbelievably clutch free throws from freshman Damian Daniels, who went 10 of 10 at the line. You win the game 69-66. You said afterward it was everything you thought it would be. Yeah, you know, it was an incredible Southland Conference tournament game. You know, although we hadn't played in one, that's what they're like, you know. And I knew no lead was safe. I mean, you look across the court, you got Moses Greenwood, who was probably playing as good as any player in the league. I thought he was player of the year.
A lot of people thought he could have been player of the year going into the tournament. And then you have Ville, and we all know around here 4 years of Ville. I'm glad he's gone. You know, I mean, I hugged him afterwards and just told him how much I appreciated him, how much fun it was to compete against him, but I'm glad he's gone. You know, I mean, he's really good. And so when you have 2 seniors like that, they weren't going to go out quietly, that we were going to take a bunch of punches for them down the stretch. And I agree with you. I don't know what other shot's bigger. Maybe Jerry Mosley's shot,
99,
you know, to get him into the regional final game was huge. But Ricks's was special, man. I mean, it was, you know, we had led and controlled the whole game. And then tournament basketball, you know, they take the lead. They have seniors. They're playing for their life. And Ricks was able to come down just so calmly and shoot that with confidence. And so
you said earlier in the year he has the green light at all times.
Anytime he wanted, and I think he proved that way. He's a confident kid, and I think he's one of the best shooters in the country. And he's made a bunch of big shots for us this year. You go back to the 3 he hit against Southeastern at their place. You know, he got Southeastern twice this year, but this one was special because it propelled us obviously to be 40 minutes away from the NCAA tournament and get our program in a place that it obviously had never been before.
So this game, you know, came down to the wire, and I think most people knew that SLU wasn't going to go down without a fight. Leading up to the tournament, the Lions won 8 of the last 10 games in the regular season. Did you feel like you played the better team in the semifinal of this tournament?
Well, I think you look at all 4 teams at that point in time. I just had a ton of respect for all 4 teams. The New Orleans Sam game, I mean, I sat out there and watched the last 8 minutes. It was an incredible basketball game, man. It was just one heavyweight punch after the other and 2 great teams going at it. The New Orleans Lamar game, Lamar maybe came in as hot as any team in our league. Was an incredible game where New Orleans hits the buzzer beater. I mean, I just enjoy watching college basketball. Unfortunately, we don't get to live scout during the year, so you don't get to be in the arena and feel the excitement of great games. And so that was what was so exciting. Our guys didn't get to see it, but as a staff, some of our staff was scouting, but I was just watching and enjoyed, just like Grant, like wow. I mean, it was just incredible. And so that game was incredible, and I thought our game was incredible. And so I think, when you make it that far in our league, we have so much respect for the coaches in our league, so much respect for the players and programs in our league. We have great coaches and great players in our league. This is a really, really competitive league. Every league's competitive. I always hear them, man, you go around the country and you hear coaches, man, our league's so tough. Well, every league's tough. Whatever league you're in is tough. It's just hard to win. And when you get to that time of year, you have so many seniors. I mean, look at Ville and Greenwood. They were there last year. They played SFA and were basically a free throw box out from having the ball and a chance for the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's just how competitive and how hard it is. And in a one-bid league, it all comes down to Katie. It all comes down to the tournament. We're not going to be a multi-bid league. That's not going to happen. I know people talk about it. It's not going to happen. That's just the reality of it. So you do all your work to get to Katie. I think Grant mentioned the double bye. I thought that was really big, especially when we lost Jelani and BJ. I think we had to get the double bye. I just don't know if we had the depth and to win 3. I don't know if anybody has the depth to win 3. I think that's played into a little bit of the championship game. And so to get the double bye was big for us.
I will say, in that game against Southeastern, I'm not sure you win without the 5 minutes you got from Tobias Cameron in the second half.
Oh, wow. I mean, I haven't even thought about that. But yeah, absolutely.
He had the most deceptive stat line I've ever seen.
He changed the game. Yeah.
I thought he did.
He changed the game with his energy, his enthusiasm. We think Tobias is going to be a really good player. He's fighting some consistency things like all freshmen are fighting across the country, and different freshmen get it at a different time. But we think Tobias is going to be a great player in our program. We just played a team with a lot of size and length and athleticism. We think Tobias gives us that on the perimeter. And so hopefully Tobias has a great spring, a great summer, and we look forward to big things from Tobias moving forward.
Well, that win meant that you were 40 minutes away from the promised land for all 351 Division I basketball teams. You took on New Orleans, led by your good buddy Mark Schlesinger, which knocked off the hottest team in the league, Lamar, as you mentioned, in the quarterfinals. They beat the #1 seed, Sam Houston State, in the semis to reach the title game, a game they won 2 years ago to get to the NCAAs. I know it never feels this way when you're in the middle of it. It didn't feel this way to me as I'm calling the game. But really, a neutral observer would say you control the game. You led it for the last 35 minutes. You win it going away 77-60 to earn the Southland Conference Championship and that coveted trip to the NCAA tournament. And your seniors, coach, your seniors led the way. Jaron Lewis, 20.6 rebounds. Jay Frank, 16.6 assists. Hayden Farquhar, 14 points, 8 rebounds. You would have taken any win, any way it would have come, but having your seniors shine seemed like it was a page right out of the storybook.
Yeah, it's meant to be, and the 3 that Farquhar hit in the corner, that iced it, it was like the journey was complete, you know, and so I almost get teary-eyed still thinking about it and going back to it.
I'm still hoarse.
Yeah, it was, I remember the timeout Slush called, and I just turned and looked, and we had taken over Katy. Purple was everywhere. And
the huddle's here, and you step back, and you're looking up and see it.
I just wanted to remember that. We're big on mental picks on our program of pictures that you'll never forget. You'll lose your phone, you'll lose pictures, although I don't know, social media today, it stays out there for as I'm learning. But,
good point.
I just took a mental pick and looked, and I just took a lot of pride in that because, I graduated from Abilene Christian. I played at Abilene Christian. Abilene Christian has raised me in a lot of ways, and to get them to I knew what was about to happen. I got to experience it as an assistant at Little Rock, and I knew it was going to change our university and our men's basketball program forever. And more importantly, we were the first to do it. And I take a lot of pride in that. So for our seniors to lead us into that, it couldn't have finished anyway. All 3 seniors played great. I also will say this because we haven't mentioned him yet. We mentioned Tobias and David. Joe Pleasant was special, man.
Huge.
He was special in both games, and he played really, really well. And I'll again say this: Slush is one of my really, really good friends. I've got a ton of respect for him. I hugged him when we came out of the press. I remember him telling me it's going to go really fast. Just enjoy it, man. And we talked to each other on Monday or Tuesday before we left to go to Jacksonville. And so got a lot of respect for him. I've gotten a lot of texts and phone calls and notes and letters from people in our league. And I take a lot of pride in that because of the respect I have for all these guys.
Yeah, so your team, they seemed so relaxed against New Orleans, and they just went out and balled that night. And I have to say, you mentioned the three-pointer by Farquhar. My favorite moment in the game is when he hits those two straight, hits one at the top of the arc. Then he's in the corner. He's wide open. He stares at the UNO defense like, wow, all right, you're going to leave me wide open, then lets it fly, hits it, buries the game. I'll have to see that highlight again at some point. But, for the team to just play so relaxed, it's got to make a head coach feel really great, right?
Yeah, it felt great. I don't know what bally means, Max. I'm going to have to get with you on what bally means.
Kids today,
But whatever bally means, we did ball, That was a good thing. But, no, you know what? I think the most aggressive team wins a lot of times in college basketball. And it might be in any sport. It's AD about football and stuff. But, the passive teams don't usually win at our level. The most aggressive team usually wins. And we wanted to be aggressive against New Orleans. I did not want our guys to be passive just because the lights got brighter and it was 40 minutes from the dream that they have dreamed since they were kids and what we wanted to put our university in. We were 40 minutes away and I didn't want to get tight. I wanted them to play loose and I wanted them to play aggressive. And I thought we did that at a high level. And so it was a fine line because we wanted to be aggressive and not foul, but, we wanted to play with some freedom. And I thought defensively it might have been the best we played. Coach Tanner had an incredible game plan. Our guys were locked in. We forced them into over 20 turnovers, which is really hard to do against them. And we were able to get out in transition and run. And, we had a few oops. People that know us, we don't really throw the oop very much, but we threw one. Damon, I think, threw it.
It still
hasn't come down. We tried to throw two oops, and we hit the side of the backboard. But we were laughing at some. I just thought we were loose, and we were playing free, and we were attacking, and we were aggressive. And I thought that was the difference. And then you go to Farquhar. Farquhar hasn't hit a three the whole tournament. He hits the one at the top of the key, and then to come back and it was almost like he smiled because after he hit the first one, and then he smiled because he knew. And when it went down, you knew right then. And the cool thing for me too is you don't get a chance in those games usually to relax and to get your guys off the floor, to enjoy the moment, and to let other guys that have worked extremely hard in our program and work hard in practice every day get an opportunity to get on the floor on national television because they deserve that. They're a big part of our program and what we do. And so we were able to celebrate those seniors and get them off the floor and let them enjoy the last minute. And we were able to get some guys on the floor that could also say that they played in the Southland Conference Tournament Final and played in the game that ACU got to history. So it ended like a storybook.
Yes.
It really did. That victory on Saturday night started the clock on what would be a whirlwind week that included numerous logistical details to sort out with the NCAA in terms of travel, accommodations, lining up who among your closest friends and supporters would make the trip with your team. You found out where you were going to go on Sunday afternoon on the CBS selection show. Some of the bracketologists had you going to Jacksonville, perhaps as a 15 seed to play Tennessee, and here's what happened.
The 15th seed.
The Kentucky Wildcats. They have the winningest record in college basketball history, 8 national championships. A few of my buddies texted me and said, hey, sorry you drew Kentucky. And I know you said this, and I certainly agreed. If you're going to go to your first dance, why not go with the prettiest girl? How much of the media attention that ASU got in the days leading up to the game Thursday do you think was because you were playing Big Blue?
Yeah, I've said this before, and I agree with it. I think we couldn't have gotten a better draw off the floor than Kentucky. Yeah. I saw a graphic leading in. It might have been something that CBS did, and they gave me. But, you had how many tournament wins Kentucky had, how many national championships they had, how many games Coach Cal has coached in the NCAA tournament, how many games Coach Cal, and we were all zeros, you know. And so to have our program up against that was an incredible for our university because of the exposure. And I said this in the press conference, Grant, and I don't know if you were there or not, but for the next 2 days, everybody was going to talk about the University of Kentucky, that they're the University of Kentucky, maybe the bluest of blue bloods, and one of the programs you grow up dreaming of playing for, a Hall of Fame coach, one of, if not probably the best fan base. And I found that out when my wife and I were on vacation this summer in the Bahamas. They showed up to play in that tournament and took over the whole resort. But and anytime they talked about Kentucky, they were going to talk about Abilene Christian. And so that was great for our program, and that was great for our university, and I knew that. On the floor, Kentucky was probably there was, but who else are you going to play? Tennessee, Michigan State. I mean, at that point in time,
this is a deep 1 and 2 seed.
You're going to play the problem with Kentucky, obviously, on a basketball. So we run a high-low power offense, and Kentucky's probably not the right team to play. My dad when I were joking, it would be like running the wishbone against Alabama. I mean, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so, again, we've said this. We are who we are. It is what it is, and we were going to go be us. And the first half obviously had its problems, but the second half I couldn't be more proud of our team. I thought we competed. I thought we made shots. I thought we guarded them better. We were able to rebound a little better, and it wasn't like they went to their bench. I mean, they had 8 guys suited up, and they played a walk-on. I think as their 9th guy. Maybe they had 9 suited up. Yeah. They put 1 guy in with a minute. So we played Kentucky for 39 minutes.
Correct.
And so we'll take a lot of pride in that, and our program got better because we played the University of Kentucky.
Yeah, in the game you did some really good things. Yeah, Calipari coaches a team to another first-round victory, but you did some good things. Jaron was 7 of 12 from the field with 17 points, and you forced more turnovers on Kentucky, 12 to your 10 in the game. I think when it comes down to it, moving forward, you just have to get more experience against these kinds of teams. Yeah,
Max, it's a complicated answer to that question, to be honest with you. There's a way that we feel that we have to win here at Abilene Christian and to win our league, and there's a culture that we've built, but we feel that gives us the best chance to get to that moment, and out of conference scheduling plays a part of that. You schedule so far in advance, it's hard to tell who's going to be good and who's going to have the kind of seasons that they're going to have. And so your strength of schedule plays into that. Obviously, our strength of schedule is not good. We set a school record in wins in 27. We were 27-6 going into that game. Our record with Kentucky was comparable. Our strength of schedule was not good. So if you can get your strength of schedule a little bit better and still win some of those games, your seeding becomes better, and then the chances of winning a game becomes better in the NCAA tournament.
As a 13 or 14 compared to 15 or 16.
You have a better chance of winning. On the flip side of that, if your strength of schedule gets too good, you're not going to get to 27 wins. You're going to lose a lot of games, and maybe you're not in that spot. So there's a lot of things that go into that, and we're just in the beginning stages of that and figuring that stuff out. And so we have to decide, honestly, as a athletic department and as a university, what we're going to do moving forward. And I'm excited to talk to our administration and to our university about that. But again, I thought we did everything we could to get us to that spot. And when you get it, we were proud of the 15 seed. We stayed out of the first 4 in Dayton. We didn't get a 16 seed, and we belonged in the 15 seed. It's just the way we played, and it was tough because we had to be us at the same time. As a coaching staff, you're thinking, well, what if we do something different the next? You only have 2 or 3 days, but it's so hard. You think it's so easy to do, but you're so tired from Katie. You get back, you have practice Monday, you're leaving Tuesday, you have all the press conference stuff Wednesday, and you're playing Kentucky on Thursday. It's hard to, try to revamp yourself to do it. The best chance you have against those teams is to space the floor, spread them out, play more 5 out probably, get those big, long, athletic guys out of the rim, and see if you can hit some shots, But that's hard to put in 2 or 3 days. So we thought the best chance we had was to be us. I still think we got some really good looks the first half. They just didn't. I shouldn't say good looks. Kentucky's really good defense, but we got some looks.
Some looks, yeah.
And then go back to winning the tip. Damian got a wide open shot to start the game. If that goes down, maybe it relaxes us a little bit. We're not going to beat Kentucky, but maybe we're able to stay in the game a little bit longer, But we got some looks. But the second half, we got some more looks, and we were able to see some go down, and we were able to guard them a little bit better. But I don't blame our guys. I mean, when you walk out on the floor, it's Kentucky. There's 17,000 Kentucky fans there. There's they're NBA players, Hall of Fame coach. We haven't seen that before, And so the closest we've gotten to see that is Texas Tech. And Texas Tech is darn good. Texas Tech has a chance to win the national championship, but they're not as long and athletic and full of roster of NBA players as Kentucky. So that's the first time our program has ever seen that. We haven't seen that even in the early non-conference games we played in the beginning of transition.
Maybe the closest.
Maybe the closest, but it was still different. No, not the same. And so. Incredible opportunity, and I'm glad our guys got the chance to compete in the second half. And it's a game that those guys will never forget the rest of their life.
Yeah, that second half was 40-31 Kentucky.
Yeah.
Jaron finishes with a memorable night, 17
And we only turned it over
points.
twice. 8 turnovers in the first. I mean, you go back. It's 28-14 with 3:30 to play in the first half, somewhere in there. In the first half, it's a 14-point game. We have the pace of the game kind of going we want. Can we win in the media timeout? Can we win the last 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Can we play it even the last 3 and go in at halftime down 14-12? But instead, they go on the run. They hit the threes. We turned it over a few times there late, and they go in with all the momentum. And so
doesn't take much.
No,
against
it
them.
happens quickly.
Couple of things about that. First of all, mighty Kansas was down 26 at halftime as well in their second round game, and they were a 4 seed. So it happens. Secondly, a lot of people have some thoughts on John Calipari. Could he have been more accommodating to you, privately and publicly?
I thought he was great. I have so much respect for him. And let me say this, too. I said it publicly down there in Jacksonville. I don't know him personally, but you know him as a recruiter. Everybody says he gets the best players in the country, maybe the best recruiter in college basketball. But after watching his team on tape and playing against his team, what a coach, and I have so much respect for him now as a coach. And there's no secret why he's won national championship, and there's no secret why he wins 30 games every year, and he's playing in the Sweet 16 every year, Elite Eights, Final Fours. He's an incredible coach. He's an incredible recruiter. He's got the total package. He was great for our university. He was really good to us as a staff, and it was a privilege and honor to coach against him. It's a memory and something that I'll be able to share. And my kids were there, and hopefully they understood it. Kayson's getting old enough to hopefully he understood the gratitude of it. The gravity of it, I guess. Chase, who knows? Chase wanted a Kentucky Big Blue shirt on the way. I don't blame him.
And he got some good swing in the pool.
He's rooting for the Big Blue here down the stretch, but he's Dad's biggest fan, and it was an incredible trip and journey with the players. But it was really special for me to spend with my wife and my kids. They're a big part of my wife has sacrificed so much for us. People don't understand that, being a coach's wife, and then I miss a lot of my kids' activities and a lot of things my kids do. So to have my kids on the floor with me was a really special moment.
Your folks and sister were there.
Yeah, my mom and dad went, and my sister went as well. So really cool. My brother-in-law had football practice, so it is what it is.
Sonny Dykes, it happens.
Yeah.
So it was an unforgettable week in every way, and of course it whets the appetite to try to get back there as soon as you can. When we come back, we'll put the wraps on the greatest season in ASU basketball history and look ahead to next year. Stay with us on The Joe Golding Show.
ASU students have never had the chance to experience their own school in the March Madness tournament. We were able to sit down with a few of those students and ask about what it was like.
So we didn't really know what we wanted to do for spring break, and we realized that the tournament was in Katy, and we just decided we wanted to go.
We were actually driving back from spring break, so we weren't there for the whole tournament, but we saw, through social media, that we were playing in the championship game in the Southland Conference, and that if we win that game, then we're going to be going to the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history. So we said we've got to stop there and go to the game.
It kind of felt like a home game with how many alumni were there. I wasn't expecting to see so much purple in the crowd, even in Houston.
That whole arena was ACU fans. I think we took over that arena.
It was just amazing atmosphere because we were in the front row, and there was just purple all around us, and we just got to watch the players warm up. We got there an hour early, and just seeing them embrace all the fans that were there, it was awesome.
Even when we were winning in the second half, we kept thinking there's no way we're going to win, just because it doesn't feel real that we'd be playing in an NCAA tournament game when it hasn't even been a possibility for the first, 100 years of our existence.
You could kind of feel the energy swelling up. As just every time we scored, it was just an eruption of joy. When
I knew they were going to win was when Hayden Farquhar hit those 2 threes.
We were already high-fiving and hugging, and we're telling each other, this is it, we're going to do this.
He hits the one at the top of the arc, and he goes back. I can see him celebrating, and he's just got his head high. But then the second three-pointer, I already said, he's in the corner, grabs it, he's wide open, stares at the defense like, all right, great, leaving me wide open, lets it fly, makes it, and I'm right there behind him. And to see that was just terrific. I mean, we were going to win the game.
And to watch the seniors walk off the floor with about a minute left was just awesome, watching Coach Golding and them embrace each other.
It's just hard to describe. It's just, you're not even playing, but for me it was like I was with this team, with both these teams the entire time. And it's just very emotional to see them take down these teams and become the Southland champs.
So when the clock finally hit 0 and we won, I mean, you could probably see through the television how excited all the ACU fans were, jumping up and down. The fact that like we're, you know, it's hard to believe, kind of. It's hard to put into words. Actually feeling like, you know, a Division I program that's going to the big dance.
And being on the court with them while they were celebrating, you know, I remember Jalen crying with one of the coaches. It's just hard to describe that feeling for them. And then for me, just as a student journalist, being there to witness that in my senior year is just amazing.
There were tears being shed because it took a lot to get to that point, and you could feel how much it meant to those players, to the coaches.
We got to go on the court whenever they were cutting down the net and take pictures with all the players. And we got to see Hayden and Paul, and we sang our club song on the court.
I went on the court and celebrated. I got a picture with the trophy with one of the coaches and got to watch them cut the net down, which is what every college student dreams of when you're supporting the team, is to watch that net come down and, you know, hoist the trophy in the air. So, you know, they're playing "We Are the Champions" in the arena, and they're talking about ACU. We're the champions of the Southland Conference, and that was an incredible experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was an awesome experience. We got to see the players and the athletes just with the biggest smiles on their faces. And, you know, it was an experience that made history, and it's something that I'll never forget. Specifically, you know, the moment cutting down the net and the coaches, the emotions of the players, it was just also vivid.
It was kind of surreal. It took a while to actually believe that, hey, this is happening.
Wrapping up our final episode of the Joe Golding Show, the loss to Kentucky in the NCAA tournament not only ended the season at 27-7, setting a new program record for regular season wins at 25, tying the overall total 27. It also completed the careers of Jalen Franklin, Jaron Lewis, and Hayden Farquhar, who, along with Hayden Howell, who redshirted this season with an injury, quite simply transformed this program. My job is to put into words what various achievements mean, and I have been able to do it very well. Coach, how would you describe what these three, Franklin, Lewis, Farquhar, plus Howell, have meant to you as a coach and as a man?
Yeah, here we go again.
Yeah. What do you say?
Man, I don't know.
They didn't have to come here.
No, we could talk about them for days on days, and I hope we do. I hope we celebrate them. I hope this university celebrates them. In my humble opinion, they belong in the rafters of Moody Coliseum for what they've done. That's not my decision. Other people will make that decision down the road. But I think all three of them they're just incredible. They're incredible men. They represent our university in a first-class manner. They go to class every day. They pass classes. They go play with the kids at elementary schools. They give high fives at 7:15 in the morning. They work at Cajun Fest. They work at October, whatever. You know, they've never turned down a community service event. They're involved in town. They've interned all over the place. They're going to be great graduates of Abilene Christian. They're going to represent our university in the way that we want our graduates to represent the university. They're the face of our program now and will forever be as long as I'm the head coach at Abilene Christian, and I'm extremely proud of them.
So, Coach, after a historic season with 27 wins, the school's first ever Southland Championship, and first ever Division I tournament appearance, what comes next for this team in the offseason and next year's campaign?
Well, the good thing is I don't have to talk about the next game with you for a while.
Which he's already got locked in as a
He
winner.
already knows who we open up with, Max. Who we
We're
ready to
done
go,
with
man?
that.
Arlington Baptist,
Yeah.
November the 12th.
Man.
You know, I don't know what the next step is. I think we're all going to figure that out. You know, I think, you know, we obviously have to replace a lot. You know, we got to replace those three seniors. We obviously have to replace Jelani and BJ. We have to sign 4 guys. But I think it's exciting to recruit now at Abilene Christian. It's exciting to tell our story, and I think now they know that we mean what we say. We said we were going to get to the NCAA tournament and build a team that can compete for Southland Conference titles, and we've done that. So now recruiting, we don't have to sell a vision anymore. You know, they know what we have here, and we're going to continue to do it. And so to me, we got to get on the recruiting trail. We got to sign really good players. We're not gonna we're not going to settle in recruiting. We're going to continue to find guys that fit our university, that fit our culture for our basketball program. And just because our program might have more notoriety now doesn't mean how we're going to change in recruiting. You know, we're going to continue to recruit guys that can fit in with the student body, continue to find guys that will go eat at the bean with the rest of the student body, find guys that will pledge, find guys that will get involved, you know, we'll be involved in welcome weeks. We'll go to other sporting events, go to sing, you know, because that's what our university is. And our university is not changing. We're proud of our university, and we're going to continue to recruit to our university. That's not going to change. But I think good times are ahead for Abilene Christian basketball. What an exciting time, especially with the women making it as well. It's a great time for our university. It's a great time for both basketball programs. It started with Casey Wilson and the soccer team. I don't think we can't state that enough. Casey Wilson's a great friend of mine. He's done an incredible job of building that program the right way. He was blessed. He had an incredible group of girls that do it the right way. And I think that's contagious. That's contagious in all programs. When you see one do it and get off the bus with a trophy, it makes other programs want to do it. And so we were next. We got a chance to do it. Tennis is having a ton of success right now. Baseball and softball are off to great starts. Track and field, Coach Bingham's done an incredible job. And I'm fired up with the way Adam's got our football program going. So, and I probably missed a program. Volleyball, yeah. You know, Angela got to the title game last year. And so I just think it's contagious. And my prayer and my wish is that our student body will continue to get behind us, because if we want to build the best programs in the Southland Conference, it's all about our students. It's all about support, you know, and it's all about them supporting our athletes and coming to games. And I think as long as we continue to recruit athletes that support our students, my prayer and my dream and my vision is that our students will continue to support our athletic programs. And I think that's where we can continue to get better. And that's my dream and my vision and my prayer.
Absolutely. It was a thrill ride from day one.
Yeah, appreciate it. You've been along since day one, and I appreciate it. And Max, I know you're going to do other things, and I appreciate you. I'm glad you got to enjoy the ride with us, and best of luck to you. You're going to be a great graduate from ACU as well, and you got some big footsteps to follow. So he doesn't return phone calls. He doesn't do anything until you get on the national stage, and then he helps you out.
True at all. No, but great job by you, and you'll have some great stories to tell. We had a great time on the front row watching this. It's going to do it for this season of the Joe Golding Show. Thanks to our producer, Hutton Harris, all the ASU students who contributed to this show. For Max and the coach, I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching the Joe Golding Show. We'll see you right here next year.